sir. Vikir van Baskerville is nobody's favorite son. He is one of countless children born into the iron grip of the Baskerville clan, a military house so brutal that infants are thrown into rivers of cursed water just to see which ones are worth keeping. He has no mother who cradles him, no father who looks at him with warmth. He has a name, a number in a long line of expendable heirs, and a sword he has carried since before he understood what dying actually costs. That is his entire world. That is enough. That is it. The Baskerville clan does not raise children. It forges weapons. The head of the family, Hugo van Baskerville, is less a father and more a force of nature wearing a man's face. Cold iron. Absolute authority. A patriarch who measures love in battlefield performance and measures failure with a grave. The clan controls its territory through pure martial dominance, a hierarchy so vertical that even breathing wrong near the wrong person can end a bloodline. Young soldiers are ranked, tested, discarded. The weak do not survive long enough to complain about it. The strong survive only by becoming something that no longer quite resembles human. Vikir learns this early. He learns it in the Cradle of Swords, where he is thrown as an infant into the river Styx alongside other Baskerville children, all of them scrabbling through a corridor of blades just to reach cursed water that could kill them outright. Most last 2 minutes, some last 4. Vikir lasts 7, then he drinks the water. He nearly drowns. Hugo drags him out himself. He has already grown teeth. That fact alone tells you everything. 8 years pass, and the boy who grew teeth in cursed water sits in a classroom, face blank, absorbing lectures about swordsman ranks. He already knows all of it. He knows it the way old men know the sound of their own joints. Because somewhere behind those child's eyes, something ancient and exhausted is waiting. The Baskerville triplets, highbrow, midbrow, and lowbrow, circle him after class like wolves who have never once met something that bit back. They cover his mouth until he should pass out. He holds his breath for 10 minutes. Then he bites off a finger. When a blade is pressed to his skin, it does not pierce. He is 8 years old, and already the clan's cruelest inheritance has taken root in his bones. Hugo summons him. The triplets claim to have forgiven him. Vikir looks his father in the eye and says he did nothing wrong because he is stronger than they are, and strength is the only law this house has ever honored. Hugo almost smiles. Almost. Then comes the part where it all ends. Not in battle, not in glory, not against some worthy enemy with a meaningful name. Vikir van Baskerville, grown into the clan's most lethal weapon, their Hound, their iron-blooded sword, is executed on the orders of the family he bled for. The betrayal is not passionate. It is not even cruel in the theatrical sense. It is administrative. A decision made somewhere quiet, by people who decided the weapon had become inconvenient. The clan he served without question, without hesitation, without ever once asking for recognition, signs the order with the same hand that once gave him his first sword, his commander, his brothers in arms. The hierarchy he carved himself into the shape of, and the last thing Vikir sees before the darkness takes him, is not an enemy's face. It is Hugo's clan insignia on the document that ends him. The faces around him are not twisted with hatred. They are composed, professional. That is what makes it unbearable. Not the rage of betrayal, but the absolute absence of it. He mattered so little at the end that ending him required no emotion whatsoever. Not grief, not guilt, not even the basic dignity of being despised. Just nothing. And then he wakes up, in a crib, surrounded by walls that smell like milk and stone. A younger version of Hugo passes the doorway, and Vikir lies there, this ancient murderer trapped inside an infant's body, and understands what has happened before his mind can fully process the miracle of it. He has regressed. Not to his teenage years, not to his first battle. All the way back to the beginning, to the cradle, to the moment before everything was decided. He does not weep, he does not scream into the ceiling and ask the universe why. He lies there, small and furious, and completely silent, and he starts counting. The power does not announce itself. It was always there, sleeping in the architecture of his reborn body, waiting for the muscle memory of 7 lifetimes of violence to finish waking up. When the 2 black mambas are planted in his crib by a concubine who wants to thin the competition, Vikir coats his hands in mana and kills them both before the fear can register in his child's face. In the morning, they find him sleeping peacefully among the shredded corpses. When the triplets press a blade to his skin at 8 years old, it does not cut because something in the cellular memory of this body simply refuses to be damaged by lesser intent. The power is not dramatic. It does not glow. It does not announce itself with speeches. It is just there, dense and heavy and patient, like ore that has been compressed for 1,000 years inside the earth. He is a child who moves like a man who has already buried most of his enemies. Here is what the old Vikir looked like. He obeyed. He waited to be assigned. He trusted the chain of command the way a dog trusts the hand that feeds it, right up until that hand moved to the throat. He bled for people who were already calculating the cost of keeping him alive versus the convenience of removing him. He was loyal to a structure that had no word for loyalty, going upward, only downward. He believed that if he was strong enough, useful enough, irreplaceable enough, the Baskervilles would eventually have no choice but to keep him. He was wrong about all of it. Here is what the new Vikir looks like. He sits in the same classroom and lets the same teacher explain the same sword stages he mastered 3 lifetimes ago. He does not correct them. He does not let any flicker of recognition cross his face. He is 8 years old and the most dangerous thing in this room, and no one in this room has any idea. When the Morg clan arrives, and Camus Morg, heir to a rival great family, challenges him, Vikir fights exactly as much as the situation requires, and no more. He sees Camus clearly, sees the pride and the testing and the loneliness underneath it, files all of it away without sentiment. He does not befriend Camus because it feels good. He positions himself because the future requires it, and he already knows exactly what the future holds. He joins every assessment, every trial, every clan exercise with the same flat expression, performing at the level that draws attention without revealing the ceiling. He does not want to be feared yet. He wants to be underestimated. There is a difference, and it is the difference between a trap and a weapon, and Vikir is currently building a trap. That is it. He already knows which of the Baskerville elders will move against him when he grows too powerful to ignore. He already knows which allies will fold when Hugo's pressure lands on them, and which ones have a spine buried somewhere under the obedience. He already knows the timeline of the clan's internal rot, the deals made in dark rooms, the alliances that were never recorded in official histories. He already knows where the cracks in the Baskerville Foundation are because he watched the whole structure collapse once before from the inside. He already knows that Camus Morg, for all the rivalry and the sharp edges, is one of the few people in this world who will still be standing when the smoke clears. And that matters. He already knows that the Balak tribe's troubles are coming, that the Red Death epidemic will carve through the outer territories before anyone in the clan center acknowledges it as real. He already knows that the academy he will soon attend is not merely an educational institution, but a stage on which the next generation of power is sorted and identified, and that there are demons moving in its foundations that no one is looking for because no one survived long enough the first time to know where to look. He already knows that every single test placed in front of him is smaller than what he is already, survived, and that the only real question is how much strength he should show in any given moment. Not for pride, not for recognition, for strategy. He already knows the difference between winning a fight and winning the war. Because the last time he confused those two things, he ended up dead on a document with Hugo's insignia at the top. When the confrontation arrives, when highbrow and midbrow and lowbrow circle him with that entitled cruelty that passes for power in this house, Vikir does not raise his voice. He does not perform anger. He looks at the three of them with eyes that contain absolutely zero warmth. Not coldness in the dramatic sense. Not the theatrical chill of a villain monologuing. Just an absence. The same absence you would find in deep water, in old stone, in something that has processed pain so many times it no longer registers as anything except information. Highbrow presses a blade to him. It does not cut. Midbrow grabs. Vikir moves through it the way wind moves through a door that someone forgot to close. Then he is holding the knife, and they are holding nothing, and he tells them, with the exact tone of a man reading from a ledger, that he will let one of them leave. He will not wait long. He does not tell them what happens to the ones who stay. He does not need to. They can read it in his face, or rather, they cannot read it at all, and that is precisely what breaks them. There is nothing to appeal to, no ego to flatter, no anger to talk down. Hugo calls him in afterward, and Vikir explains himself with the stripped logic of a man who understands exactly one law. He was stronger. He was therefore right. Hugo's expression does not soften, but it changes. Slightly. The way iron changes when it finally recognizes a temperature that can actually affect it. Here is what this manhwa understands that most revenge stories forget. Revenge is not about destruction. It is about authorship. The first time Vikir lived this life, he was a character in someone else's story. He was the weapon, the tool, the hound that the Baskerville clan pointed at problems and then put back in a kennel. He was given no say in the plot. He was removed from it when his chapter ended without ceremony. The second time, Vikir is the one holding the pen. Every choice he makes from the moment he wakes up in that crib is a line in a story that ends differently. He is not rushing toward the people who killed him. He is methodically removing every condition that made it possible. He is not the iron-blooded sword hound of the Baskervilles. He is the man who survived the Baskervilles and came back to write the epilogue himself. Cold, quiet, completely certain. And the most terrifying thing about him is not his strength. It is his patience. Because he already knows exactly how much time he has, and he is not wasting a single second of it. If this hit, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm to show this to other manhwa fans. Subscribe to Plot Vault EN so you don't miss the next recap. And drop the name of the manhwa I should recap next in the comments.